is a practice.
Sorry, I forgot to turn that on for people. Yeah, you're exactly right. Cheap yarn doesn't, and then when you're done, you've put all, I mean, you did the right thing. I'm not saying anything about what you did. You did the right thing for a special reason. You used less expensive yarn because you knew you wanted to give it a test drive.
Right.
But people don't realize that you put all this work into it and you get done with cheap yarn and it just doesn't look quite as nice. And so you're more, I feel like your mistakes show up more, you know, depending on what they are, but everything just kind of doesn't look as nice. And after all that work, it really deserves good yarn. Yeah.
And I had to rip out some of this. They're just things that I didn't understand. So, you know, join the sleeves together, and I didn't use that mattress. And I thought these don't look good. So, and I mean, I'd rather be making those mistakes on with something that I really don't care that much about. And in time, I'll have a really nice sweater. So,
exactly. Yeah. And what's so great is now that they've made the sweater so much larger, it, you know, when I first launched it, it went up to 2 to 3 ears and it quit. And people would say, oh, do you have this in bigger? Do you have it in bigger? And of course I didn't. But now that they've made it go larger, you know, you could keep making it for a child as they grew if you so chose, you know, wanted to do that.
I was just thinking I'd make one in red for her at Christmas with a little hat. So that would be so cute, you know, for like a Christmas outfit.
You know what would be cute is to have some white mohair maybe on the edge of the hat or something. Wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I love it. I love it. Do you have any other questions?
I just need, and again, I don't want to hog the thing,
No,
but
no one else is showing their face.
It's so weird. I just need to figure out what's going on with the yoke. I mean, I've got all the pieces and you know, the raglan sleeves are together, and I just need to know in English kind of what's going on with this yoke around the top.
Okay, let's talk about that then, because you probably aren't the only one, so that's great. Let me just get my pattern out so that I'm looking at it.
So I can hear you all. Can you all hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yes.
I don't know what happened to the video. Okay. Well, I have a question after you answer her question.
Okay.
But I don't know how to turn on it says 4 participants and it has the names, but I only see 2 of you. You and Jane.
Well, there's only 2 of us showing, just Jane and myself, that only 2 of us.
Yeah, I don't know how to switch it to show that I'm here.
Yeah, there's probably a button.
Is your stop video on?
Not that I know of. Oh, there's another face.
There's Marjorie. There's Marjorie. Hi.
I've been trying to figure out how to get my camera going, and that you said to start video, and that I pushed it, and there it is. So okay.
Oh, there you go.
Finally.
So start video somewhere. Let's see. Select it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you tap on the screen, the little configurations will show up, and it says mute and start video. But if you hit that, it'll be stop video. So that's how I did it. Tap on the screen, and all the things will come up at the bottom. Maybe for me, anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like so beginner, and this is how far I've gotten because I've started over like 20 times.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's me. Yeah, I will make progress at some point, but
have you been on all the calls, or is this the first call you've been on?
I missed the second one. I was on the first one.
You're on the
And,
first, but that first one wasn't as, the second one, we actually got into it. The first one was kind of swirling around and was kind of confusing. So yeah, the second one was more, probably would have been more helpful to you, but that's fine. We've got time, and let me address Jane's questions, or at least start addressing them about the yoke, and then let's move back to you. And then also, I don't know, is it Brenda?
Becky.
Becky. Okay, very good. All right. This is excellent. A nice small group, and we can get to everybody. So the yoke, you joined all the raglan sleeves, you joined everything together. So let me ask you where your first question is then.
Okay, I'm going to start at the very first, and it says, with the right side facing, using the smaller needles, slip the, and in my case, 22 stitches from the right front holder onto right needle. Rejoin yarn. So I'm going to be picking up my yarn. There's a YouTube video on rejoining yarn, so I'll figure out how to do that. And pick up and knit 3 stitches. Is it only 3 stitches from top of right sleeve? So let me see.
No, right side of front neck.
Right, and knit up the neck. I don't understand that.
Okay, so let me see if I had these together.
Okay, so I'm going to take, okay, so with the sweater facing me, I'm going to take the right front, and I'm going to loop from the kind of sleeve side onto the knitting needle. So I'm going to be, so I don't understand. Okay. You're going to need to.
Turn it around and hold it up to me so that I can see exactly where you're at. So you slip 18 stitches from the right front holder. Is that your right front holder?
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the right front holder.
Right,
okay.
right.
I just was getting the directions straight in my head here.
No, I totally get it. And so do I slip the needle in from this side or from this side?
No, from that side, from the
this
outside edge. Okay. Yeah, from the outside edge. Because you're going to be knitting around the top. So you're going to want your business end of your needle to be, because hold this out, hold your whole sweater out, like at the top. Yeah, so you're going to want to start knitting across that.
So I'm going to be joining the yarn on this right here and knitting across here, right?
No, you'll slip 18 stitches from your right front holder. And then join the yarn on the inside where your left hand is. Yeah.
Here. Oh. Yeah. So I don't knit these. I start knitting at the end of the holder. Okay.
They'll be on your needle, but then when you join your yarn and start knitting, you'll have 3 stitches. You'll pick, you know how to pick up and knit? Have we talked about that?
No.
Okay. Let me get a,
you can give me a YouTube video. I can figure that out. Yeah, here there are 3. 1, 2, 3 stitches. I may have more than 3. Well, I may have like
no,
4.
but do 3 in that you're going to like space them evenly. Like figure the first one kind of at the beginning, the last one at the end, and the third one in the middle, and kind of space them out when you pick them up. Don't pick up every stitch as you're going along, because what they want is they want it to slightly kind of pull in. I mean, they don't want it to be gathered, but do you see what I'm saying? They don't want you to put your needle in every single stitch that's already there.
Space. So use only 3 stitches
Right, pick
from
up 3.
from from the holder to the seam. From this holder to the seam, I'm going to have to have
Yes,
3. Okay.
yes.
Is that from the original pattern? Where are you getting the word holder?
Well, it's just holder. These are
She's actually she's knitting from the pattern that has all the sizes up to size 10.
Oh, okay.
Are you knitting well, we can get into that in just a second, but
okay. So, and then knit
okay.
3 stitches up the right side of this front neck to the seam. And then I pick up and then I space out and I pick up, I'm doing the 26 stitches over here. I'm knitting all this all the way around. Got it.
26 stitches on the sleeve. So what
Right.
you do is you just say, okay, here's one edge of the sleeve, here's the other edge of the sleeve. And 26 is divided up how, and you evenly do it. What I do is I fold it in half.
Yeah.
I fold my things in half and I'll put a one of these kind of stitch markers
Yeah.
on, and I'll go just like that, and I'll know that's my middle, so I know I've got 13 stitches up to here. And if it's wide enough, I'll fold it in half again and put another, stitch marker in there so that I can divide it into, 7.5 or whatever, or 6.5.
Okay. And so then I do that kind of all the way around. It's telling me stitches from top left even 3 stitches down the right front neck. Then knit across the stitches that are on the holder, on the left front holder here.
Yeah, I'm thinking, Jane, that you reversed them. I think it's not the right. I think it's not the right one as if you hold up your sweater and you look at it directly, you need to start from the one on the right. You need to start from the marker on the right, which might technically, when she's wearing it, be her left, but you need to start from the one on the right.
Okay.
Were they?
Okay. I'm not sure.
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm looking at this backwards because it's mirrored, you know what I mean, in the video.
I totally understand it. So then I go through and then I go through all the way around, and I pick up the stitches that are on the other one. On the other
and you knit them. Actually, it says you knit across those 22 stitches off the left folder. So the first one you just slipped.
Right.
But the second one, you'll just knit them off.
Yeah. And then I'll turn around and then I'll pick this up off the folder as I'm knitting around the other way.
No, they're already off the holder, because remember at the very beginning, at the very first sentence under yoke, it says slip 22 stitches from the right holder onto your right needle.
Right needle, which means I'm not working. It's the non-working part of it. Got it. Yeah. Okay. So then so I get all that. So I end up with however many stitches, 140. Working garter stitch across all stitches count as following. Work 5
Continue
rows.
as follows.
Continue. Sorry. Work 5 rows ending with the right side facing for next row. Okay, so I'm going to be knitting. I'm always knitting though on this because it's garter
on the
stitch.
yoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, for row 6, knit 18. I'm going to do I'm doing the year-old thing. Knit 2 together. Oh, wait a minute. I don't understand it. Knit 2 together.
And then whenever
At
something
the start, as I start this row, okay, I'm going to do knit 18, knit 2 together 17 times.
No, No,
Okay.
no, you knit 18, you knit 2 together, and then the next thing it says knit 4, knit 2 together, and that's in parentheses, which means that's something that's going to need to be repeated.
Okay. Knit 2
So
together, and then knit 4.
knit 4,
Knit
knit 2 together, knit 4, knit 2 together 17 times.
Okay. Okay. All right. So
You're doing a big decrease so that your yoke starts, getting smaller.
then knit 4, knit 2 together 17 times.
Yeah,
This
whenever just in
I would have never figured this out. Then on the next row, I knit 18.
Well, no, this is still the same row. Then you knit 18.
Oh, and
okay. That's the end of your row, and you will have 122 stitches after you've done that decrease.
Right. And then I work 5 rows ending with right side facing for next row.
Correct. And you're doing all those in garter.
Right. So then the next row, which is probably, let's see, 6 plus 5, 11, row 12, I guess. Knit 6, cast off 2 stitches to make buttonhole, cast on 2 stitches over these cast off stitches on the next row.
So not on this row, but it's just telling you that when you come to that same place on the next row, you're going to have to cast on 2 stitches on the next row so that you have a hole for the buttonhole.
Okay. Okay. Knit until there are 10 stitches on the right needle after cast off. Knit 2 together, and then I'm going to go through another decrease where I knit 3, knit 2 together 17 times, and then knit 17 stitches until I get down to work that for another 11 rows. I think I can get this. Work
Just
with
remember then. Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I think I can get this now.
Just remember then when you do the next row where it says the next row after you've cast off those 2 stitches, it doesn't remind you. So make sure when you get to that place where you've cast off those 2 stitches that you cast on 2 more stitches to go over the top of that buttonhole. You're going to want to cast on 2 stitches, and you cast them on just by doing like a put it over your finger. Here's the stitch. Let's see, where am I? Let's see. Here, if I wanted to cast on here, I would just have this over my finger, and I would just sorry, I'm not doing this right. I would just make a loop. Let's see. I can't show you very well here. Let me get a. Sometimes I didn't turn on my camera, and so that makes sense. This is going to be important for you to know how to. It's just a small thing, but yeah, this right
Let
here.
me ask you something. If I didn't want to do a buttonhole, if I wanted to do like a snap instead,
that's fine.
Because then what I could do is I could just sew, those nice snaps that you can get, and I don't even know if I can get them. I guess I could order some. If I didn't want to do a button, I could probably do then a snap closure, couldn't I?
Sure.
And can I order those online? Do you carry those at your shop, like nice snaps, or?
I have one design that I sell with a snap. It's a cape, thing and the collar has a snap in it. And I do have some. If you, this is kind of convoluted, but if when you order your yarn for your next one, if you want to just, ask for me or something, and to, it's nothing that you can choose in the shop. We'd have to work it out, and I'd have to tell shipping to put one in. But
I mean,
if you have,
is that acceptable? I just think a snap might be easier.
sure, no, it's perfectly acceptable. And then I'd sew a little decoration of some kind of pom pom, or some kind of flower, or
yes,
yeah, absolutely acceptable.
May I ask how many times you've made this sweater, Pamela?
I've completed it once. I've got pieces of the second time.
Like I said, so I've been crocheting forever. I just learned how to knit. I just made myself learn how to knit, and so this is my first real thing to do.
Oh, it's for the very first project for knitting. It might be a little, but since you already know how to do needlework, if you're good at figuring things out, you'll be fine one step at a time. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's more complicated than I think it says in my shop. I'd have to check, but I think I put it as an advanced beginner. I suppose I could put it as an intermediate, but I think advanced beginners should be able to figure it out.
Okay.
It's learning
I'll figure out a lot.
Yeah, it's learning knit language is another thing, because I can't crochet. I mean, I'm going, well, I mean, I just think that's really hard. And another thing is that crochet is you're handling your yarn differently, I think. So there's not as much both hands working like I knit very traditionally, but there's like sometimes when you get on some of the YouTube channels, they'll talk about, I think it's continental knitting or something, which is similar to the way that yarn works with crochet. I don't know anything about that, and that's really seems foreign to me. But for somebody, I think, who knows how to crochet, that might, I don't know. They say it's easier, but for some reason or other, I can't crochet. I just think that's really hard. Really hard.
Well, I'm a left-handed knitter, have knit left-handed my whole life, and have thrown like what you do. However, it was easier for me. I taught myself how to knit right-handed, and it was easier to teach myself continental from left-handed knitting. It's been easier for me to learn right-handed knitting. So yeah. So there's many different ways to do it. There's not a right way. I'm a very, as you've probably figured out from my other knit-alongs that you've been on the other 2 times, is I'm just a big believer in being light and easy about it, and not getting all uptight, and just learning and treating it as a fun adventure. Like somebody said in the Facebook group, somebody said something about, they posted, we did the Pemberton sweater some months ago this year. And somebody said, I'm just now getting to it, I'm late, or something like that. And somebody else said, I hardly have anything done on it. I knit for fun, not to complete something. I enjoy knitting, and so, I mean, everybody, fine, whatever anybody wants to do. But I guess that's my point, is there's not just one way to do things. We're all different, and we all have different time constraints and different reasons for knitting. And I think we just need to be easier on ourselves and each other for what, other people choose, how they choose to knit.
So
is my video showing yet?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I switched to my phone
Oh,
instead of my
that works.
laptop. We had to use a camo program for homework for Spanish class my husband and I were taking, and I don't have the regular video anymore. I don't know what happened to it on my
Oh.
laptop. So you want me to ask my question?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I've knitted baby sweaters before, but I just cannot follow these directions. So I'm doing the back and I'm all the way down to the shape the raglan armholes. I got the first, where it says, and I'm doing a size 6'7", so I can do it at a relaxed pace before my granddaughter outgrows it. So this is, this is bigger than she is, so I can just enjoy making it, try something new. But I've done the cast off 4 stitches. I've done the next part where you decrease 1 stitch at each end of of one row. Did that. Now I'm lost where it says then on 2, 0. I don't understand what following 4th rows. I don't have to do it because it's a 0, but then you're supposed to then on the following 1.
I just
11
told
alternate
somebody, I just told somebody, I just wrote this answer to this question out, I think in the Facebook group yesterday. So if you can understand how this pattern that was written in the more European style, Europeans are more like, well, here's the general thing of how you do it, and we shorthand the directions. We don't give you every little row in detail like we tend to do here in the US. So I think, maybe that came into the habit of little grandmas who knitted for everybody and they just knew how to knit. and this was, anyway. So once you learn, my point in saying that is once you kind of learn the vernacular of it, then you should be fine because the vernacular is the same. Wouldn't you say, Jane? Once you kind of get into the vernacular, it kind of then you can keep rinse and repeating throughout the pattern.
I hope so, because I started the left front and I'm stuck again in the exact same.
Yeah. So what were you going to say, Jane? I'm sorry.
So what really helped me, although it's for your original pattern, was your English, how you translated it. That was on, I got it on the DizzyKnitter.com, and you have where it says for each row, and that's for each row how many you're going to end up. So I kind of, you end up like how many for that 6 to 7, how many stitches are you supposed to end up with?
Well, yeah, but see that won't translate because that rewritten one only was for the pattern that went up to size 2, or
But what you do is
it's the same. What you do is the same.
Like you to get to say how many you need 48 stitches at the end when you're casting off.
Right. So I need to decrease 22 stitches. I just can't figure out how many rows they're wanting me to do that over.
Okay.
You do it
so
alternate rows.
Yeah. So let me start and let me go through it again here. So what you said is you decrease on 1 row and then on the following, which size are you doing? You're at 0?
No, I'm doing size? 6, 7 years.
6, 7. So let me look that up.
So it's 0.
That's so 3 ends. So it's 0. Okay. So then it's on 0 following 4th rows. So don't worry. You're not going to have to do anything. Just keep working stockinette for 4 rows. Because it says no decreases for the next 4 rows, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Then on the following 9 alternate rows.
Well, 11.
So, 11, yeah.
So what is it says then on the following 1? What, I don't understand is that just that's for the newborn side. Okay, I'm with you. Okay, on the following 11 alternate rows. What?
Oh, is it
Yeah.
11? Where are
Yeah.
you? I thought you were doing 6 to 7. What am I looking at?
6 to 7 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I on the wrong?
Are
2,
you at the
3.
bottom of the first page? Maybe I'm in the wrong spot.
No, I'm in the middle. Shape raglan armholes for the
For the
back.
back. The back.
So I'm working on the
Oh,
back.
you're up. I'm sorry. I was at the wrong spot. I apologize. Okay, so then 0. Okay, and then on the following 11 alternate rows, so that means every other row. Every other row, you would decrease 1 stitch at each end, and do that 11 times.
And so, yeah, so
So
that's
that'll
how
be my
you get to your
22.
22-inch, 22.
Yes. Okay.
And there, I've noticed in this pattern, you're decreasing only on the knit,
Yeah.
not on
Pretty
the
much
purl.
that's any pattern. You never
Yeah.
decrease on, or almost never decrease on the purl side, just in general.
So I write all that out, which is ridiculous, but that's why this thing helped me so much, because you'll say decrease 1 stitch at the back and you'll end up with this many, on your knit row. Purl 1, purl the next row, decrease 1, and it goes, or 2 at each end, 1 at each end. And so it really helped me to kind of say at each one of my decreases, how many stitches do I have? And I counted them each time. So that, I don't know, that's why, although this was written for a different pattern, this really helped me, because it forced me to go through and say, after I decrease this row, how many stitches do I have? And I would count them.
Yeah, I was kind of going backwards because I knew I had to move. I had to decrease 22 times. I just
Exactly.
couldn't quite figure out how to read that to get to that.
So why don't you explain it back to me? Can you go through that and explain it back to me, just so that, because what I would like to have you understand is the concept of how to read the pattern almost more than just this particular place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because as I said, I've tried to read through it, and I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and start the
No, you were right. You did the
start
right
the
thing.
left front, so I would have the question, and of course I'm stuck because the left front, where did I get stuck?
Well, let's move on to that, and let's see then now if it makes sense to you. So now the left front, because the shape raglan armholes make sense, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I have the not very far. And then I'm
okay,
stuck
no,
again.
that's fine.
So
It's lovely. I love the color.
yeah,
So
there's
you
that.
are at next row. Are you at next row?
Yes. Purl to the end of that. I don't know where I'm just, no, I can't, because I've got, the little, here's the garter for the front, and there's the stocking knit, there's the bottom. So this is as far as I got because I just got confused.
So can you tell me where you are?
Well, I think I'm trying to find seem to have lost where I stopped.
Maybe you're at decrease 1 stitch. Maybe that's where you are.
Yes. And then again, 0 following 4th rows. I don't understand the whole 4th rows. So I don't really need to
following 4th rows.
So just do stocking net for 4th row for 4 rows and don't have to do anything.
Well, on the left front, where are you at 0 on the left front? I don't see 0.
Down on shape the armhole, but let's see, I don't know where I'm at on the left front.
I think you're at decrease. I think what you've done is you've knitted 16 and you've purled to the end. And then your last 2 rows, the last 2 rows that you did, set the stitches for the front opening edge and the stitches in garter. So you've done that.
Yep,
right? Because you did the knit, and then you knitted 16 and then purled to the end, which means that you have your little garter front. Now, have you done the decrease 1 stitch Have you done that? Have you decreased at all?
Don't think so. I think I stopped right here.
Okay, so now the next thing that you do is you decrease one stitch at the beginning of your 9th and at the beginning of your 9th row. So 9 would mean it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. You do a decrease at the beginning of the 9th. And then, just like before, the pattern is exactly the same as before, 4 following 10th rows. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then on the 10th row, you do it. You do the decrease at the beginning of the row. That makes 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You do the decrease again on the 10th row. That makes 2. And you again and again to do it 4 times on 4 following 10th rows.
Okay, 4 times. So yeah, the same as we did above. You know, when we were doing the 4 times.
Exactly.
So up
yeah.
under the back. Okay, and then okay.
And once you kind of get that code, if it, as it were, once you kind of get that code figured out with how the pattern is written, it doesn't change. It keeps doing those same words. Maybe the numbers are different, but you can then know how to read the rest of the pattern.
Yes, I hope so.
Can I ask about that section?
Absolutely.
Same section. There's the next row knit, and then next row, I'm doing the same size, knit 16 on that one, purl to the end. The very next sentence says last 2 rows set stitches, front opening edge 16 stitches. Still, what is set the stitches?
That's not telling you to do anything. That's telling you that the last 2 rows set the pattern of your stitches, i.e. the front opening edge is 16 stitches in garter and all the other stitches are in stockinette. They're not telling you to do anything. They're telling you that you need to continue everything on in that same pattern.
So when you follow the rest of the directions, I just kept looking back to see where I had started that garter band, and the rest is stocking knit.
Exactly.
So as I'm trying to follow the other directions, like, okay, I knew it had to match.
Yeah.
It had to match garter and stocking knit, regardless of what they told me to do. Well, that helped me. It's going to be knit and purl.
Yeah, and that's all that once again, I'll say again, because I'm not, you're kind of not sure it quite clicked with you. That sentence, last 2 rows, set the stitches, front opening edge, 16 stitches still in garter stitch, with all other stitches in stockinette stitch. That's not telling you to do anything. That's telling you, well, I mean, it is telling you that those last 2 rows that you've knitted, that's the pattern that you're to continue following. 16 stitches in garter and the rest in stockinette. I'm not saying something
It's
in a way.
basically telling you what it's supposed to look like from this point forward, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. It's not telling you to set the stitches. It's not telling you to set the stitches. It's saying the last 2 rows have given you the example and have set the pattern that you're going to follow then for there. Yeah.
The light bulb just went off.
I know, I can tell that I wasn't saying it.
Okay. They're
So
saying
that it reads completely different.
Yeah, look at what you just did. Those last 2 rows are telling you what the rest is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then where it starts at decrease 1 stitch, then it's telling you to do something.
Okie doke.
But it's staying within that pattern that example of the garter stitch and the stockinette stitch side by side.
Okay. Got it.
Do you have questions about as it goes farther with the decrease? Do you understand the four times the following 10th rows?
Yeah, I'm actually on the section right above it, the shape raglan armholes. But
Mhm.
since we're going into that left front next, I figured I'd start figuring that out. I'm a
Absolutely.
little bit behind because I had 2 weeks worth of work into my sweater and my puppies pulled it apart. They got my basket down off the table and I looked down there and they're in a million pieces. So
Oh,
I did a 48-hour grieving period and then I started over.
Breathing/grieving.
Are still alive, but barely.
The pups are still alive. Let me see. How old are they?
13 weeks.
Oh,
my
they're
gosh.
tiny.
You have
Yeah,
your hands full.
they're little messes, but anyway.
Yeah, that's the way they are at that age. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that.
That's kind of like the dog ate my homework, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah, somebody else just told me, oh, yes, they posted in the Facebook group. If you guys aren't in the Facebook group already, and Jane, I looked and looked to try to add you to the group and I just couldn't find you to add you on Facebook.
Yeah, I'm Cornbread 1993.
That's your profile name?
Yes, that is
Okay.
my other addiction. I have a horse. So that's his name is Cornbread. And he was born in
Oh,
1993. So he's very
oh,
old. He's like the oldest horse in our barn. My poor husband's just going,
oh.
how long did these animals live?
Well, anyway, if you want to join the Facebook group, especially since
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
more to work on, that's a good way to get help. It's
Oh,
the
that's
best way to get.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hey,
You have
so
more questions?
is there a YouTube video on
Let me sign off.
and your YouTube videos have been great, but is there a YouTube video on like picking up stitches? Like
Oh,
when we
yeah,
did yoke?
yeah,
Sure, I know how to do that.
yeah.
Because your
Pick up a knit.
recommendations on the YouTube videos have been great and they've been so helpful.
Yeah, it's much more efficient for me just to give you a YouTube video than to try and show everybody how to do everything myself.
Yeah.
So there is the pick up and knit
Pamela
YouTube
Fletcher.
video.
Okay. If I don't, who does that? Just out of curiosity.
It's Very Pink Knits. And I really like her videos. She does a really nice job. Very Pink Knits.
Knits. And then, so I'll
Uh-huh.
just go to her channel and then look up, pick up stitches.
Mm-hmm. Pick up a knit. Yep, yep.
Mhm. Pick up knit.
Okay, so we
That's great.
lost somebody.
She said she was going, the one with the 2 puppies.
Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. I didn't hear her say that. I would have said goodbye. Okay, I'm
She
sorry.
probably had to go rescue something from them.
Oh, probably. All right. So Marjorie, let's come back to you and see, do you have any other questions? Any other?
I just need to get past. I got as far as my first decrease, and I watched your first video, so I was was very proud that I was able to do that. And then I went several rows, and then I realized that I had like a stocking run in the whole thing, and it's like I'm trying to ladder up, and I'm learning how to tink and all that. And then it's at some point it's like, this is how far I got on that. I kept it so that I would have some, encouragement that I did get this far. But
yeah, absolutely.
Once you start going backwards, you lose count, and then it's like really hard to count rows.
It's hard
So
to pick up. Yeah.
That's why I've started over so many times, because I'm such a perfectionist. If I see a mistake, I want to go, oh no, I gotta go and fix that, So I really need to release some of that, but I want the sweater to look kind of cute,
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong. I think, I'm not sure if you were here. I think Jane put it better than I've ever heard it put, or as much as what I understand. It's like this combination of being really precise and really a perfectionist, and yet giving yourself grace and knowing when it's time to just, mentally and emotionally, I'm going to learn more if I keep plowing on, and this will be a learning experience. And you know what I mean? And maybe it won't be only a learning experience, but I'm just saying, there's just kind of a balance between being really perfectionist, and realizing that, what, I'm learning. And if there's a little mistake here, the world won't stop turning, and next time I'll know better how to do XYZ.
Yeah. And it is getting better. I'm learning, I'm counting each row. I'm putting stitch markers in when there's a change or a decrease. So I am learning how to discipline myself, so to speak. And so I will get through this.
I have
really
no doubt.
I've wanted to knit forever, and so I'm really proud of myself just for making myself learn how to do it. So, and I really do like it. Yeah.
Good for you. Oh, it's such a wonderful world, of possibilities and things you can do, and it's so pleasurable. I like to do all different kinds of knitting. I like to do some knitting that's challenges me and is a technique that I don't know. And I also like to do knitting that's just meditative, maybe just stockinette or just garter stitch. And I'll do a sweater that takes a little bit of technique, and then there'll be a big wide swath of stockinette, and I just can sit and just kind of let my mind unwind as I just do repetitive. It's like meditation for me. So there's a lot of different elements.
I did start to remember that I do have a question where it says, once I get to that point, shape arm, raglan armholes, that's where the back starts to do the
You're talking about the first one where it says shape raglan armholes?
Yes, that's what, yes. Right after the back, which is obviously the beginning. And then the shape armholes, that's where it starts to make the inner decreases, right?
It'll look like this. You're doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. Because I kept looking at it and doing it, and I'm like, I'm just going to keep decreasing every 10 rows. When's it going to start looking that? And I just now made that connection. Okay. Well, that's where I am. Sorry,
Are there
that wasn't much of a
sizes?
question.
Are there sizes available when you're ready to block? I don't see what size the pieces are supposed to be.
Oh yeah, they don't have that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
just
eyeball it.
just yeah. What I do,
I ordered a steamer.
yes,
So
I
it'll
love
be here
my
Monday.
steamer.
Well,
Yeah, I love my
hope
steamer.
I do. Yeah.
What I do is I steam, like see how this is all curly. I'll steam it. I'll steam it really good, especially on the curls, and steam it really until it's nice and warm and wet. And then I'll put it on the board and put my pins in it, and do a slight stretch, but not a crazy stretch, but a slight stretch, but it'll uncurl these edges so that you can or sew them together a lot easier.
Okay. I know this one comes with some kind of a metal glove so you don't burn your skin.
Oh,
You got a
wow.
fancy steamer.
Yeah,
So,
what?
Pamela, how do you hold your yarn for tension? Because what you just showed us, that piece is beautifully tight. And I feel like I knit
Well, I knit more tightly continental than I do throwing. When I knit left-handed, I would always knit just ever so slightly loose. So I hold I'm sorry, I don't have my camera set up today.
Okay.
I just hold my yarn just like you hold yours in your
Right.
left hand I hold it in the same fashion.
But
And then
you have it wrapped around how many fingers on your left hand? Just around your pinky. Okay.
Just around my pinky and there. But sometimes when I knitted left-handed and would throw, I would wrap, just depending on what I was knitting, I would wrap it around twice to give me just a little bit more tension. And just a little bit, if I was knitting too loosely, and I found that I had to, let's see if I can even do that anymore. I don't even know if I know how to knit left-handed anymore. Yeah, I would. So this is left-handed and throwing. And yeah, if I thought I was knitting too loosely, I would wrap it around one more time.
Okay.
But that's just something that comes with hours and hours and hours that's the one thing that you can't intellectually figure out. You have to just do and do, and then pretty soon your hands just relax. I mean, when I started knitting right-handed, it was about maybe just a little less than a year ago. When I started knitting right-handed continental, it was like somebody asked me to stand on my head. It's just everything was all uncoordinated, and everything was like difficult. And the only way that I got better and got easier at it is just by struggling through and just doing it and doing it and doing it. Yeah, hours and hours of just doing it.
Well, I have to go. My friends are here, but I'm so excited about this and just finishing it. And it's not going to be perfect, but it will be something that I'll remember. And I'm so grateful to you for just walking us through this, really. I mean, that would be long.
I think I would have just stopped if you hadn't been available to help, because I just didn't understand the pattern, the following alternate rows. I'm like, oh my gosh, what alternate rows?
Yeah.
Okay, stacking that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway,
anyway, you've got to go, Jane. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been a pleasure.
Great.
If you have any more questions, make sure you hop on and join the Facebook group, because that's where you can ask.
I will.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. I have another question.
Yes.
Is there a video on the buttonhole, or should I just basically follow the directions? It's the buttonhole.
Just follow the directions. I will go through it again. I was going through it with Jane. In fact, I don't know if it got caught on the recording because I forgot to start recording when Jane and I first started talking. So the buttonhole is under yoke on the second page, or the second page of the pattern.
I see it.
And where it says under yoke, and it says under yoke, there's a bolded row 6 right side, and then the next bolded down says next row right side.
Yeah.
It gives you the directions to knit 7. I think that's the size you're doing. And then you cast off 2 stitches. And then in parentheses, it says to make the buttonhole. cast on 2 stitches, cast back on 2 stitches over these cast off stitches on the next row. So it's not going to remind you again to cast back on those 2 stitches. You know, you're knitting along, and if you cast off 2 stitches, then you're going to have a blank, right? And then on the next row, you're going to want to put those stitches back so that you have a hole there, and you don't want to
Okay.
lose those 2 stitches and have a gap. You don't want to keep knitting and then the hole will crunch together. You want to put those 2 stitches back over the hole. So I can
Okay.
give you, I've got a little video here that I can put in the chat of how to do a thumb cast on. Oh my goodness, what a link. That's a crazy link. Why is that link so long?
Bless you.
Thank you. Excuse me. Here we go. Here's a better link. There's the link to how to do a thumb cast on. And so that's what you will use, those directions to put those 2 stitches back on the next row when you get to that when you get to where you cast them off. Does that make sense?
Is that under
Okay.
yours, or is it under Very Pink Knits? The video.
This won't be Very Pink Knits. This will be oh shoot, what did I do? This will be I just put the link in the chat. Did you see it there in the chat?
Well, I'm on my phone. I saw it flash by.
It's actually Studio Knit. Studio Knit. If you look under, or just go thumb cast on. You know,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
search on YouTube for thumb cast on. It's I'm sure there's a bazillion of them.
I know, that's why I was afraid. I thought I'll just go to the one that you're using, because I've used Very Pink Knits before, and if I can, I'll choose theirs.
And maybe we'll try hers. I didn't look in hers in particular. I was yeah. So try her. I'm sure she has something. Yeah, I
Okay.
love her. She's great.
Yeah, she is good.
Yeah, she's great.
Because you can
So-
contact her, late at night. She doesn't wake her up if you go find her video. That's when I
Yeah.
tend to get stuck on my knitting. It's like, oh, I probably should go to bed, and then I wouldn't be stuck. It'll be clearer in the morning. But I usually look for a video to get me through there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what we did before that. It was
I don't know. I didn't
yeah.
even know my mom knit till my sister told me. And I said, I don't remember ever seeing my mom knit. My sister, there were only 2 children, my brother and my sister. And so by the time I came along, children later, she wasn't knitting.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I didn't ask her, when I got stuck. But,
Oh, that's interesting. And she didn't say, "Oh, I can help you out."
no, she didn't. But she had me
Interesting.
talk to the neighbor. To go see, the neighbor, and she helped me.
Oh, that's sweet. That's
Oh.
sweet.
Luckily, we had a knitting neighbor.
Yeah. Especially if you wanted to knit. I remember my mom taught me how to knit, which is why I knitted left-handed, is because she was very left-handed, and so I was kind of ambidextrous, so I was fine with it, and I learned how to knit left-handed. And a little while later I said, would you teach me how to knit or how to crochet? And she didn't, I was the tail end as well. I was the last of the family. And so she just gave me a book. By that time she was like, I'm done. You want to learn how to crochet? Here's a book.
My aunt had a baby every year for 5 years. And I had a book and knitted a little outfit for each of these, a baby each year. And my sister became her caregiver when she was, and my aunt developed dementia. And she was going through the house because she said, we couldn't find bath towels. And she goes, I found bags of them. She had bought them, put them in the closet, bought some more, put them in. They never made it onto the towel. But anyway, I said, well, while you're looking around, do you see any of those layettes I knitted? I knitted 5 of them. And, hat, sweater, and they were lacy patterns. They were so cute. The little socks. But yeah,
Never
that's
did
been
find
years.
them.
They lived on the farm. I don't know if they ever even used them. But yeah.
Wouldn't it be
I didn't
lovely to have them today?
It would, but it's funny because it's like I bet they're just like new. I can't see Aunt Ellen in hindsight now, because as I got to be a teenager, I would go bale hay with them. And it's like, oh, this is not where you wear lacy hats, jackets, and hoodies.
No.
No, but they haven't
Well,
shown up yet. You never know. They may still.
they may still.
There's no
That's funny.
telling where she tucked them away. And
And they may be pristine.
yep, they could be. They were fun to knit. I liked doing them.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh,
She
that's
didn't
fantastic.
no more after that. The last one had pneumonia and some other issues, and that was the end. No more dolls for me to play with.
Oh, oh,
But I'm
great memories.
it is. I still tend to want to knit baby things. So they were just fun to make, and I love babies. That's my favorite age. Up to age 4. After that, they get pretty mouthy and want to do their own things. But she would bring her babies for visit every year, and I'd get to play with them, entertain them while the adults had dinner and stuff.
Oh, and I'm sure they love that. The adults and the babies. I'm sure they love
Yeah,
that.
and I know they would come in and peek once in a while, make sure everything was good. But they
Yeah,
never heard the
yeah.
baby crying, so they felt pretty safe.
So that's good.
Yeah, it was good. Good times.
Are there
But as
any?
I said, I'm making this one big enough that my granddaughter can grow into it, because I've been making them for her since right before she was born. And I was always rushing. I gotta hurry up. She's grown. Oh, no, I gotta hurry up. And this time it's like, no, I'm gonna go really big and have a relaxing way to learn this new pattern system.
Yeah. Well, this is a challenge for you, and that way you'll be able to read other patterns. You'll have that in your tool belt, and it won't be so much of a surprise next time you see this kind of shorthand, if you will.
Yeah, because I had bought the Sweet Knits for Baby book, and then I saw that you were doing the knit along. So that was
I
just good
see.
time. I hadn't looked at the patterns. I just bought the book because there's a dress in there and the sweater and several
So
things.
cute.
So
Yeah.
now I'll be able hopefully to make the dress after I finish this.
Yeah.
I have enough
Yeah.
yarn to do the dress to match. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's some adorable patterns in there. And I don't know if you knew, but this yarn Chow, this superwash yarn, is created by the designer of all the Sweet Knits for Baby.
I
The
didn't know
guy,
that.
Jody Long, who wrote and designed all of those patterns, including this one, he also, this is his yarn, Chow, it's called, from Italy. And this is his yarn. I don't have one with the label on it. I've taken them all off right now. But anyway,
What
that's
fiber
just
is that?
interesting.
Yeah, no, I went
It's
with
a super wash. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's my little sunshine. That's his as well. Yeah.
yeah, because my
This is
granddaughter is hot-blooded. So my daughter said, don't do the wool. I said, okay. So I got this instead.
yeah, the cotton. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
This
it's
is
cotton?
100% merino wool, but it's super wash. So you can
Okay.
wash it in cool water gently, and even tumble it for very, very gently. I wouldn't, but you can. It's super
Mhm.
super
That's
wash.
what I tell my
And it,
daughter. You can, on the other sweaters I've knit her, I said, you can knit this if you put it in a bag, but I wouldn't. I said, it
yeah,
takes
but
a
I
few
would.
minutes to squeeze it in some soapy water,
Yeah.
So some Yukon.
Well, when-
And it just has a wonderful feel. It's a really nice feel. I've knitted with it a fair amount, and I love how it knits up and how it feels. So
okay.
And the colors are awesome.
yeah,
Color
Yeah.
selection. Yeah.
they're fantastic. Well, if you ladies have any more questions, do you have any more questions now before we close up?
No,
And if you have
I
any
don't.
others, be sure to hop onto the Facebook group and if you're not there already, do you know, are you there?
Yes. But
I
when you,
am,
because when
yeah.
you said you just did that yesterday, it's like, I need to go look at that. Is there just one stream? That if I go
No,
to
it's
the,
not one stream.
okay.
It's her name. If she posted her question, her name is Tina, I think. Let's see. Where's her question? No, Terry Albright. If you search for her, or even just go to the group and just look down
Yeah.
the
Well, I looked
you'll
last night and I didn't see the size 6'7". So when you said that today, it's like, oh, well, I better find out how to find her in particular. Okay. In case I
yeah,
get
and
stuck.
there's other people explaining in there as well. You know, I'm not in there absolutely every day. I'm in there about every 2 days and try to pick up on the questions every 3 days, usually tops. But you know, people will ask questions, and other people who've knit the sweater will chime in and help you out as well. So
Yeah, I'm going to write down the ones that I saw because in the other sizes, because I will probably make a smaller one of these as a gift. We have a friend whose baby is due in November. So I may
and
need that for the little size, but thank you
right,
so much
and
for your help.
you're welcome. One more quick thing is I'm hearing that maybe you didn't get the pattern that I rewrote for the quotes old pattern. You didn't get that rewrite. Is that
Well,
correct?
no, I don't think so. Customer
Because
service
if you
sent,
didn't buy the kit from me, then you wouldn't have received it.
no, I don't have that. And I reached out to customer service last night and they sent today, but it's the bigger, I already have the bigger pattern. I
Oh,
just don't
they
have,
misunderstood. Let me
yeah,
give you the rewritten one. It won't tie in correctly to what you're knitting, but what it will do is, that's what Jane was trying to explain. She was trying to say the vernacular, the nomenclature, the way that it's, you know, it'll help you get into that swing of things. So let me get that for you. I'm happy to share it. Somebody else,
I got it, so
you got it?
I did get it. I have it, so.
Okay, good. Somebody else was really wanting me to rewrite the whole thing, and all of those sizes. I mean, it took me hours and hours and hours to rewrite it. So I'm just not going to be able to take that kind of time.
no, but I think if I understand what they mean, then
Then you can translate it. Yeah, you can translate it. It's just a decoder ring. Now you're going to need, I just put it in the chat. So before we close down here, I want to make sure that you get into your chat and get that link.
so go to what chat?
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop the recording here.